Hello everyone, my name's Sandra Griffiths from iDeLick Media, and with me today is Sandra Grey-Smith. Sandra, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing, Travel? Good?
I'm brilliant.
Good.
I'm going to tell everyone really and truly where we are.
Okay.
We're in Kingston, Jamaica.
Yes, we are.
We're both visiting on holiday.
Yes.
And you're from the...
New York. I mean, this is where I live now, but originally from Kingston, yes.
Originally from Kingston.
Yes.
I'm actually originally from London, but my father's in Kingston.
Okay.
And I do love being here.
Okay.
Something about the weather just attracts us during this time.
I know, but it's kind of hot. Not true. It's hot. Hot.
It is.
Yes, it's hot.
Now, the reason why Sandra's with me today is because she's an author.
Yes.
You wrote a book,
Yes, I did.
Piece of Me.
A piece of me. Yes.
Now, my first take on the book would be that it's Sandra depicting her life, giving her a piece of her life, going through a stage of family turmoil, marriage turmoil, to bliss.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you summed it up really nicely.
Thank you very much. Could you just explain to me more about why you wrote this book?
Okay, I think in retrospect, looking back on bits and pieces of my life, I see wherein my situation was probably not unique, and I just thought that if I wrote it all down, maybe somebody else, that's probably going through little bits and pieces of what I went through could probably read and understand that there is some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a way to go through, and there's a way to overcome. It just does not have to stop, in darkness, or it does not have to stop in the turmoil. You can actually get out of it,
Okay.
So
Sandra, I want to take you back in before you even thought about writing a book, before you even conceived it.
Okay.
I mean, let's go back to your first marriage, because I feel that could have been the impetus to sort of like bring you on a journey towards bringing this book together.
Yeah.
What were you going through?
I think, this was it. Fell in love with this dude, right? I wouldn't say I was fresh off the boat from Jamaica to here, but, this dude had really nice personality, was a really nice guy and everything, and I was pretty naive though, right? And circumstances put us together, and, I kind of liked, the situation, but when we were to get married, the night before the wedding, I had like really cold feet. And I could not understand where all this was coming from. I mean, I remember holding on to the light post outside. I was like, Daddy, 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 I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Because I had that feeling in the pit of my stomach that this was not something to be done right about now,
Okay. You had that gut feeling.
I had that
let's
really
call it
gut.
signs.
Yeah.
You're getting the signs. So the
Yeah.
signs were...
It's
really...
like, Sandra, this is not for you. This is not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And if I was a braver person at that time, I would have said, okay, stop the presses. We're not going to be doing this. And just called everything off. But no, everybody chalked it up to cold feet. My dad was like, come on, baby girl, you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Cold feet. And even through the ceremony, even through the wedding itself, I still had that feeling in the pit of my stomach. I mean, everything was so surreal. And 3 months later after we were married, I mean, things started to go downhill fast.
Oh my.
3 months. I mean, really, 3 months after, things started to go downhill really fast.
Talk to me about the signs.
They were, okay. I found a matchbook. Let's start with this one. I found a matchbook, doing laundry, I found a matchbook with somebody's name on it.
Okay.
And I looked at it, and something hit me at the pit of my stomach.
Okay.
I was like, and I threw it out.
Yeah.
And I did a laundry about my business. All right.
So would you say the signs were accumulative?
Yes. There were little things that was going on, and as time went on, if you pay attention, you'll see them. If you try to go about your daily business and try not to, or you try to ignore them,
yes.
Obviously you're only pushing them back. They're not going to go
away.
Right.
Yeah. It's sort of like it becomes all collected inside you, and obviously it gets all frustrated,
exactly.
And then it messes with your sort of like everyday processes and everyday systems.
Exactly.
But obviously the marriage ended.
Yes, and it's kind of weird how it had to end, because I had to what I call make my great escape. Because I had to have a plan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I tried leaving once before, and he got rid of that. And I was followed day and night, and I was picked up
Wow.
and dropped off. My calls were screened. It's like, I'm not letting you
Wow.
out of my sight. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of had to have a plan because I knew deep down inside, I knew that it couldn't go on like this. Something had to give. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it couldn't go on
I
like
mean,
this. So
what I'm drawing here is that these are parallel stories that you've actually depicted in your book,
yes,
The Piece of Me.
yes,
And the book in itself sort of like tackles these situations
yes,
whereby I think the general message,
yes.
having looked through the book,
Hmm.
is that you're talking about, you got out.
Yes,
But, when you got in,
yeah.
it was like, I would say, there was no manual. It
And
was something that you had to use your intuition to get through.
and that's life. You know what I'm saying? That's life. Life does not come with a manual. You have to wing it. I mean, sometimes you have people that you could turn to and say like, I don't know how to do this or I don't know how to do that,
Yes.
and you get good advice. Okay, but I lived in New York. My parents were in Jamaica. My brother was in Africa on mission. At that time, he worked for the UN. My other brothers were in Jamaica, so basically, I was kind of alone here.
Yes.
And to go, I'm not one that asks for help. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm not going to reach out to you just like that. I'm going to try to solve whatever my situation is. I'm going to try to do it.
You touched upon the point about, first and foremost, anyone in that situation, one thing they must do for their own self is to recognise self-worth.
Yes, definitely.
And
Definitely.
they also must recognise that where situations arises and how they can get through these situations is to have what you termed as self-lead.
Yes. Yes.
Could you elaborate on these two concepts or terms?
Because let me tell you something. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to give you the time of day, or who's going to invest that much in you if you can't invest in yourself?
Right.
You know what I mean? So therefore, you have to be grounded. You have to, if you can't ground yourself, you got to find something that grounds you, like God. God
Yes.
grounded me. Okay, and I think that after I found God in a different way, because I always knew Him.
Yes.
I mean, we had this weird kind of relationship. I was the wild child.
Okay.
Okay, and he knew this, and I knew this. And I would talk to him like God. Not because I'm not walking right,
Okay.
but I'm still your child. Okay,
Yeah.
because I never denied you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have this kind of relationship, and God, I learned to draw from that later.
Yes.
And once I did, certain things kind of fell into place. And I learned to listen. I learned to step back and observe
Yes.
instead of just going in.
Right.
So. But as I said, if you don't have your self-worth, if you're not grounded, then you're not going to be able to step out and do anything. And as a matter of fact, if you don't believe in you, if somebody even tries to advise you, you're going to see it as a criticism,
Okay.
and then you're going to get offended.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to feel you're not worthy,
Yes.
and you're going to feel, oh, here's another example of me not being worthy, so they're criticizing me and whatever.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be able to accept help or get help if inside here is not grounded and correct.
That's right. Yeah.
You
Now, the concept of grounded, a lot of people would say, is that first and foremost, when you're grounded, it enables you to first and foremost strengthen your faith.
Exactly.
And your faith can really come in through anything. Maybe education,
Exactly.
maybe religion.
Yeah.
Maybe an achievement
Yes.
as well.
Yes, because then it solidifies who you are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's not to sound arrogant, or it's not to sound cocky, or it's not to sound like I am, but it's for you to understand that you are worth something, and you are, you matter.
Yes.
You matter. So therefore, whatever the circumstances, that come up around you, you should not be defined by these circumstances.
That's right. Yes.
But you can actually rise above your circumstances
That's it.
and be what you need. Be what you need to be who you're deemed to be.
Yes.
So yeah.
Because I know many people who get themselves into situations, especially when someone's got their own perspective
Yeah.
of how things should be,
Exactly.
and then you've got your own perspective,
Exactly.
which enables your comforts
Exactly.
and you getting through.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I would say that there is no manual to sort of like compromise on perspectives, whereby obviously someone may want to be the dominant, someone may want to be
Mm-hmm.
I would say the passive, somebody
Mm-hmm.
trusting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Would you care to touch upon other key concepts or key tools or key processes
You
that
see,
were able a melding, a perfect
mm-hmm.
meld?
You see, I like what you just said a while ago. Somebody being the dominant or somebody you have to trust. I mean, I go back to the Bible. I go back to the Bible again. You know, the Bible wants the wife to be submissive, right? Because the Bible says, you know, husbands, love your wife. That's how Christ loved the church.
Yes.
You understand me? That's a strong love. And to me, when you love somebody that strongly, you're not going to hurt them.
I
You're not
agree.
going to make them cry. You're not gonna let them feel any less than who they are or whatever. You're not gonna do anything to hurt that person.
Most definitely.
Okay. When you feel that love, right? I can you can easily give up. Um, you can easily give up. You know what any kind of dominance that you're holding on to because you're going to be trusting of that person that if you fall, this person's going to be your soft place to land. You understand me? He's got your back, right? And I don't mind giving up. You know, like my husband is the head of my household. Period.
Okay.
You understand me? There's certain things that we will discuss. You know, to do as a family. If he says, Sandra, I really don't think we should do this, and I tell you why, and I might feel something else, and I voice my opinion, and he says, no, you know, I really don't. My husband's a prayer man, okay,
Okay.
and if he says I don't,
This husband you're talking about
yes,
now is
this
your
is my second husband.
We're
Yes,
going to talk about your second
yes,
relationship,
yay,
marriage, but we're going to deal with
yes,
processes through in relation
yes,
to getting a
yeah,
compromise. You know, first and foremost, airing in a civilized manner
yes,
each perspectives,
yeah,
weighing up the circumstances,
hmm
weighing up the situation.
hmm um. But you know, I just wanted to show you that that in each circumstances, you know, I mean, you can be strong, but at the same time, if you're strong enough, you can listen to somebody, and you can accept an advice without feeling threatened or
Most definitely.
or
And
vilified or
I take it
anything.
you take this idea, this sort of like ramification of right and wrong straight out.
Yeah, I mean, right and wrong. I mean, you said it. There's right and there's wrong, and I mean, there's no in between, and I think that's where a lot of people get into trouble because they kind of mush the lines, they grey the line,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people like to trend in that grey area of right and wrong.
Yes.
No, it's right, it's either right or it's wrong.
Yes.
So this is how we go through.
The situation is right or wrong, but the person's not right or wrong. The person's a contribution to the discussion to make sure
Right,
that whatever decision is made,
exactly,
it's a twin combination
exactly,
solution.
exactly, because everybody has to feel as if they're
Contributing.
a contributing factor, an important
Yes.
factor in this.
Yeah.
So, there are compromises to be made.
I'd like to touch upon the book
Uh-huh.
and the tools you've drawn upon that you used
Mm-hmm.
to sort of like, first and foremost, yes, you went through this first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You recognised signs. You found yourself a bit, what I would call a quagmire.
Mm-hmm.
You pulled yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
What are the tools you touched upon in this book that sort of like said, right, I'm going to lead myself, this is what I'm going to lead myself to, this is what I used?
Okay, as I said, I think I have to come back to because I have to come back again to my faith. My faith is a very important part, and as you'll tell from the book too, I touch upon things that I learned way back, from reading the Bible,
Yes.
and sometimes little lessons or little verses will come back to you, you know, and you just take those little tidbits and you use them as a strengthening core. You use them as like a little strengthening device.
Yes.
To or a little piece of encouragement.
And you sort of like build yourself back up
And you build
from
with
the
that.
inside.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook,
Yeah.
Sandra. You're on Facebook,
Yeah.
Sandra.
Yeah.
And we often see these memes
Mm-hmm.
with these affirmations and
Mm-hmm.
sayings.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them do represent
Yeah.
somebody
Right.
according to their situation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see those memes are in regards of giving people inner strength, In general, can I ask your opinion on that, please?
Okay. I'm going to be quite honest with you. There's a lot of them that I mean, even as a person of faith, I don't even look at. I'm sorry, I said it, but
Yeah.
Because to me, sometimes the message is missing, or I don't feel the oil. I don't feel the anointing. I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? It has to come with something. And sometimes to me, it's just words on a paper.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I find sometimes they're out of context.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do build their own context around them.
Exactly. And I
So, me personally, I see them as a bit of a shortcut, actually, whereby realistically, if you have a good read, it's like putting things in the context, and actually they can share someone's experience and emotions, and also, you can get a sense of the environment that they were in, which is also impacting on your situation as well. You found these tools, you moved on, you found somebody else.
Yes.
Could you explain to me, because I need to word this right, there was a sign, there were signs, there were, how would I say, gut feelings that blew you away.
Yeah.
Care to explain?
Trevor. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. When I first saw my husband, okay, I at the time I worked at a gym, my brother's gym, right, and I was on the balcony, just looking out. It was not time for my class yet, so I was just looking out, and I saw this dude step off this bus, and the bus was about 2 blocks away, right, and I saw him the minute he stepped off the bus, okay. And I didn't say pulled out of his Mercedes-Benz car. Okay. I said he stepped off the bus, right? Public transportation. Okay. And I saw this dude, and I was like, the instructor was beside me, the weights instructor. I was like, Gary, who that? I was like, who? I was like, him. Who's that? And it's like, I can't see him. I was like, oh, it's okay, he's coming this way. He's coming this way. And I was describing him. He has on a blue shorts and white shirt, and he has this green bag, like slung over his shoulder, like he's coming to the gym, So after a while, he saw him, and he goes, "Oh, that's Zack." I was like, "Does Zack come to this gym?" And he said, "You've never seen Zack here before?" I was like, "No, I've never seen him here before," And he came to the gym, and I was like, "Okay," and that was it. I blew it off. I totally blew it off.
Yeah.
But guess what? Like, he would come in at various times, right? And if I'm in my office working, I knew when he walked through that door.
Wow.
I knew he was in the building.
Yeah.
And I had this closed circuit TV in my office, right? That I could see different parts of the gym. I had to switch on the TV. And I'd start to turn it around, start to turn the cameras to see if it's actually there.
I understand sort of like the actions you were taking, but there was something else going on, something like a spirit of some sort.
Yeah.
There was something saying to you, this is your connection.
For some reason. And then,
let's call it for a reason. There was a vibration.
Yeah, definitely.
And you definitely felt it.
Yeah.
When he came close.
Yes.
Okay, so all right, fair enough. You have all the rituals and courtships and everything.
Believe me,
And
this was definitely that.
Finally,
yes,
got married.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How long have you been married for?
Well, 15,
to
Zack. We've been married 15 years.
15
March
years.
4th will be 16. Yeah.
Wow.
And we dated like 2 years before that,
Wow.
Yeah, we dated for like 2 years before that. And we kind of got into a groove, and we kind of, we took, as I said, I went into this with my eyes wide open.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Wide open, and we took it slow. And, one night he just fell on one knee.
Wow.
And he said, "Will you marry me?" And I was like, "Oh, stop." And I looking at him again.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "You're serious?"
Uh-huh.
Will you marry me?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Super. 15 years.
Yeah.
It's obviously, for some, and it's not for others. What would you say kept you together all this time and keeps you going and going and going?
I think it's probably a combination of things. I mean, we're both Christians, all right? So
Okay.
we tend to put God first in this. And when I say put God first, I mean that the word says, love the Lord your God with all your heart.
Yes.
Love none other before Him. All right? My husband loves God more than he loves me. I love God more than I love my husband. And because of this,
I think that's a common thread that runs through all religions.
Yeah. And because of this, we kind of keep it mild and keep it tight like that. We have more little situations, but it's nothing that the love can't, get it by, because the love allows it to stay. The love allows, for everything to be worked out.
Excellent.
We don't stay mad at each other for very long. I might get my little tizzy because I can't have my way, a little bit but then after a few, he'll come around and he'll start playing, and then because I can't keep a serious face for too long, okay, I'm playing again, and it's all good.
It sounds like humor is an essential part. An essential part of your marriage.
It's good. It's good, yeah.
I want to ask you about the book. Going back to the book, A Piece of Me.
Yes.
There are certain tools that got you through your journey, certain tools that you learnt on the way, certain processes that you picked up on the way. I take it they're all depicted in this book. Yeah. Someone who would actually pick it up and consider it, what would you say to them?
I would say it's more than a good read. Because the experience that I've had with this book, for people that have read this book, they want to come to me and they want to open up to me, and they're saying, I went through this in my life, and with this with family, and this, and this is good because I understand, and boy, you went through so much, and and all of a sudden people want to share.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now, this book, A Piece of Me, as I said, it depicts different stages of my life from a kid, all the way up to adulthood, and some of it is funny, some of it's very emotional, like when I lost my parents, and, especially when I lost my dad, to see how my mom reacted, that kind of threw me, because she's a strong woman, she was a strong woman, and to actually see her cry, that was very heartbreaking. You know, there are times when I remember the things that my brothers and I went through, and how growing up in a household of 4 boys and me being the youngest and the girl,
Wow.
How that really had kind of, an effect on me.
Yes.
And plus, growing up in the country, well, not even really growing up in the country because we lived in the city, but I went to school in the country. I went to high school in the country with much, much, much smaller house, much more humbler quarters, and I lived with my grandmother for like 6 years, Aunt Icy for 6 years. She sold craft in the market, So it's like being one thing, a contractor's daughter. My dad was in politics, a little bit in politics, was a contractor. My mom, I mean, she had her own little dressmaking business for a while, and then leaving that, and I went to live in a teeny tiny house with my grandmother who sold craft in the market. I mean, it was like two different worlds. It was two different worlds that taught me so much, of how to be humble,
Yes.
appreciate everything that you have, and then appreciating whatever life gives you and not to complain so much.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, drawing on these two different scenarios and living them at the same time in a parallel and growing up like that, I think those are the things that when times kind of got weird, you pull back for. Before the adulthood and all the different things come into play, you pull back for these things that we will call probably foundation.
Yeah, a foundation, a constant reminder of that. There are multiple things out there which can either pick you up or put you down.
Exactly.
Or just spin you around a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
In regards of, you know,
definitely.
you can see this probably as also a compass as well.
Yeah.
Sandra.
That's nice.
On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for speaking with us today.
It's
been such a pleasure for us just to hear your journey, hear about your journey, hear your story.
Yes.
And, you know, finally, get you to talk about this book.
Thank you. Thank you, Trevor.
Which I recommend everybody should actually read.
Thank you very much.
Sandra Grey-Smith. But before you go, what we're going to do, we're going to put all the details on the website and everything, so if people want to see more, read it, or just find some details or everything, they'll know where to find it.
Okay, sure.
So, Sandra, thank you very much.
Thank you, baby.
Excellent.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.